Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Psychonaut Sessions, your home for all things psycho. This is your host, Daniel Moeller. Today we're going to take a look at Silverwolf book PORT. As noted before, Silverwolf was a line of books by Chris Silver that came out in the mid-1980s, kind of jumping on that 80s black and white boom. Unfortunately, Silverwolf did not last too long, but my oh my, the amazing works that we got from Silverwolf. Cartoonist Kayfabe would call some of them outlaw comics, maybe not this one, but others like Grips, which we've looked at on the channel. But the Power Comics community will call them Power Comics. This one may not be so much power, but I definitely wanted to cover this just because this looks exactly like probably like the majority of the books that I made when I was a young kid, like the cover and everything. PORT by Chris Silver. So this cover is just, I don't know, this is a jewel, or didn't really understand a lot of what's going on here. And this individual, and is like, what is he missing an arm? And we got a lady's head with blood on it. So kind of a random montage and very interesting logo, and with this like yellow border, that's just the Silverwolf, the typical Silverwolf border. Just wow, pow pow pow. Okay, let's take a look and see what's in this. All right, our letter from Chris. This is part of the whole what I'm calling phase 2 of the Silverwolf line, which is basically, he starts it, here we go again, and going through all the numerous startup problems. And I'm telling you, Chris, you tried to tackle too much too quick. You had a million books out that you wrote, all of them, and you were trying to tackle way too many artists way too soon. And I think you deflated, brother. Including trying to get out computer games, role-playing games. Too much too soon, all within just like a year or two time frame. But anyway, let's start this story. So here it's just a car, and then I guess another car driving behind it, and says, it appears to start innocently enough, but has been going on a little longer than could be guessed. Someone has something. Someone else wants it. Objects in mirror close. So this is okay. You getting it? All right. Blam blam. Some shots are fired. Bad. Sad. And we get a car wreck. And there's a random individual on the side of the road. I guess working on a car tire, who is witness to this. The Egg. Story, Chris Silver in pencils. It's true. Phil Hester. So this is one of Phil Hester's earlier works. So Phil Hester went on to be one of he's a great artist, just great all around illustrator. His run on Green Arrow is legendary. And so you can definitely tell this is some of his earliest work. But yeah, he went on to be great. So anything I may say about this book, Phil Hester, is only like if I'm looking back on my earliest works. It's not meant to. I don't want to punch down at all, but I just like to have fun too. So because it's fun to look back on our earlier stuff. So here we go. We get this random guy, and it's, what do you do in a moment of crisis? Sam Gabriel has no exception, is no exception to being a super being or whatever. So his reaction, boom, shock. And then he finally reacts. So he runs over to see if he can offer any help. Pretty interesting viewpoint of the car here in the tree, and he's really trying and going at it. As he goes up, there's smoke, so he knows he's got to move fast. very interesting viewpoint here. I mean, he's just got a regular hairline, but it looks like he's, I don't know, got the side of his head shaved here or something. But so this fella's dead. Well, this guy's a mess. Yuck, dog meat, and so is the other guy in the other seat. But then he finds that there's a woman in the back. She's got blood all over her face, and someone's alive. There we go. Okay, it's all coming together. The cover montage. Oh no, a fire starts breaking out. Door stuck, but he manages to pull it off. And so he's trying to get her out, and she's like, forget it, I'm wedged in. Arg. So she's all wedged in, and he's like, you'll be dead in a minute if you don't try to get out. So look at this. We're getting some screen tones coming in here. Kind of a fun use, typical 1980s. And then absolutely no screen tones. Not a lot going on here, but it's fainted. Oh, not yet. Ugh. And then she says, here, this case, just take it, hurry. And then she dies. That's one of the greatest I've died faces ever. And then, I don't know what this is, on the forehead, but, and I guess he's supposed to be a hero of some sort. What kind of hero am I? So he takes the briefcase, and on the thing, it says source. And boom, everything blows up. Fun explosion. The whole world's reacting. So he just sits there. Looks like we got a tear. Holding the briefcase, and he throws the case. But he took whatever was inside it. And it's an egg. Why lose 3 lives over 1 egg? So he's sitting at home. He's got the egg in, because everybody had one of those egg holders back in the 80s. And contemplating what to do. And then he says, you know what? I'm going to put it in my satchel. I'm going to put on my superhero outfit. And I'm going to port. So he is the superhero port, and he teleports. Looks like Jubilee's fireworks. He goes next is the commissioner's office, and apparently there is this fella trying to request information about the car wreck. And I don't know who this guy is, or he doesn't even know who this guy is, and he's trying to determine why is this man in my office trying to take over this case. And so anyway, that's pretty much it. And then this fella comes in and says, hey, there's a report that came in about what was going on, and then he takes off and this guy follows. Doesn't explain who this guy is and why the commissioner is just allowing him to follow him around. And he obviously looks very sketchy. And it's just referred to as the agent. So the commissioner and the agent, I guess he must be just an FBI agent, but it doesn't really say that for certain. They waste no time in getting to the site, and they're not surprised that they found the case. Has anybody opened it yet? And of course they open it and it's not there. And so the egg has to be somewhere. So dun dun dun. The commissioner and the agent, secret agent, is looking for the egg. Somewhere else, we get teleported into an editor's office. So he's the editor of the Sacramento Chronicle, and apparently his name is Sammy, and him and Port are friends. He's like, I'm your inside man where you get the scoop of everything and blah blah blah. And he's like, okay, well, I need you to look into this egg. Can you find out what this is? I'll give you the whole story in exchange for good information. So, and this like Uncle Fester looking dude, it's like, he looks like Humpty Dumpty. He looks like an egg. Anyway, so yep, they say they're going to help each other out. But anyway, he teleports out to someplace else and to somewhere at it looks like a pawn shop. And so another guy who's kind of like an agent, sort of working for Port. And so this guy's working at a pawn shop, and then he brings him the egg so he can maybe kind of figure out, because, pawn shops are experts in this sort of thing. So anyway, he's on the phone, or he's on multiple phones, and apparently figures out it was stolen. It's like, yeah, you're in it deep, boy. You get that egg to the Capitol Street Bridge, there'll be big boys waiting for you. Don't screw up either. So apparently he found out who wanted it or needed it. It is not clear at all. There's just like one little phone conversation, and apparently he's supposed to meet these like random guys. Yeah, hold on. Yep, small, violet, win. Yes, stolen. Okay, good, thank you. Okay, go meet these guys. And he's like, okay, thanks. Teleports away. So he goes to the bridge, teleports. The commissioner's there, the agent, and then we get dun dun dun. Come on, pretty boy, your clock just ran out. Who is this? Who is that? This is another character in the Silver Wolf line called Guillotine, which we don't know too much about because there was only a few issues of this book, and we could kind of take a look at that real quick because there's not much. I mean, that's it. That's all there is of Port. And then starting the letters page is just, it's the same thing. Chris just goes on this, how can I just say a bunch of stuff to fill in, and even says that. Letter pages are a little hard to write. I guess I can start this one like all the rest and talk about blah, 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 whatever. Coming soon, Legion X. But Guillotine, I guess we could just take a quick look at Guillotine because this Port was quick. So who is Guillotine? Who's this guy that's suddenly showing up at the end of this book to confront Port and to get the egg along with the agent and the commissioner? All this mystery. Will Guillotine give us the answers, ladies and gentlemen? No, it will not. But let's take a look anyway. Now, Guillotine is a power comic. This is, I would say this is Evan Husney. If you're watching this, you can let me know. But very interesting because we get this individual. It's inside Source Labs. All right, Source. Remember, Source was the thing on the briefcase. All right, Source. So that's like the Star Labs kind of bad. And this is the same. This is the same editorial letter. So we don't need to go into that. Just Chris Silver complaining that things aren't going well. And so these scientists are talking about the readouts of this like robot machine, and this guy, a human brain, was transplanted into a human body, and this human brain suddenly wakes up inside of this metal body. And they're talking about his readouts, and we got to keep a close watch on him. We can't allow him to be thinking on his own. Agreed. And he's like, oh, what a headache. Where the hell am I? Oh my God, what the hell did they do to me? And he finds out he's in a metal body. The human brain belongs to a man known as Ronald Chung. And he's like, I have to get free. This is a power page. So he was on some sort of cross, and look at that awesome explosion. Pencils by Paul Martin. Don't know who he is. So it says here, Ronald Chung was a public accountant. Now he is a machine using mind-controlled drugs. Source had total control over Ronald's mind, or so they thought. Source made one mistake: Ronald's will to be in control of his own thoughts. Though Source wiped Ronald's memories from his brain, Ronald remembers one thing. What is that? What's the one thing? Anyway, this guy was an accountant. Okay, just keep that in mind. They found an accountant and put him inside this like metal body, obviously meant to kill. Of note, they wanted to keep him under control, but just, there's a samurai sword there. Guards, they come in, stop him, but don't damage his brain. And he's like, guards, almost on top of me. They'll find me more than ready. You're eager to die, eh? And I'll be happy to help you on your journey. Grabs the samurai sword and cuts him in half. I'd be happy to help you on your journey to hell. An accountant. Accountant, and they had a samurai sword next to this robot that they didn't know they had under control yet, just sitting there. And this accountant is just the most bloodthirsty accountant I've ever met in my life. I didn't really meet him, but you know what I mean. And this random, I have some great pictures. I was like, what does that mean? And apparently this guy just started taking pictures as this robot thing started busting out. Come on, you fool, you could take pictures later. Aim for the chest, blah, blah, blah. And they start shooting. He's like, you butchers, I'll kill every last one of you. This is an accountant. I'm coming for you source scientists, and not even the gates of hell can bar my way. My lord. So, blah, blah, blah. Scientists are all, I mean, you can probably imagine, oh my gosh, he's mad and we need to bar the doors and blah, blah, blah. And this guy, who I guess his name is Guillotine, is like, when I find those chicken shit scientists, I'm going to rip their... It's like, and this one other robot comes to stop him, and then he stops it. There's a little bit of a fight, but he wins, and they're like, oh my god, send down Lance immediately. Who's Lance? What the heck is Lance? Lance Stanton? I wish. So anyway, surveillance camera. He takes out the surveillance camera. They're trying to seal all the other doors to the area. Apparently they immobilize him some way, and then this other robot dude comes in. What can I do for you guys? One of our projects, shall we say, is running amok through the complex. We need you to capture it. So this is it, quote unquote, huh? This job is going to cost you double. Send it down to the sub-levels and let him go. I'll take it from here. So they had him subdued somehow through some kind of pulse or something, but then they just let it go so that this guy could just punch him. It's like they had him, but just so this robot named Lance could punch him around. Whatever. Let me introduce myself. My name's Lance. I was like, you couldn't have like Steel Warrior or Death, Robo Death, or what? There could have been all kinds of great, awesome names, but his name's just Lance. And so they fight, and really, that's the cover. That's exactly the cover. So you can obviously tell, like, Silverwolf's trying to push these things out pretty fast. Nothing much else in this book. It's these two guys just fighting. He goes down into the sewers and he starts running, and he flashes back to himself as a young man who's like training for like a competition, for the Bakken sword competition. So he does have some skills, even though he's an accountant. And so his father is like trying to train him. And then there was something that I don't know. It doesn't. It's just so fast, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you get the sense that he's trained, and there's some sort of conspiracy that has to do with his father and his family, and it's possibly the reason why that he's in the situation that he's in with Source. He comes to, and basically the rest of it is this guy Lance hunting him down in the sewers. He tries to climb up a ladder. It breaks, and he falls. We get a whole page of him just climbing a ladder and it breaking. And then trying to climb up another ladder, and then they fight again, and he knocks out Guillotine, and then Lance stands over him in a 2-page spread. And that's it. Next issue gets, so I don't know what Guillotine has to do with Port. And here, of course, we get the, here's the actual, bio sheet on Guillotine, and it kind of talks a little bit more. He was also an Olympic gymnast, so he was an accountant and Olympic gymnast. And so he was abducted by a source and experimented on. It still doesn't explain what that had to do with his family or anything, but whatever. But his family was kind of connected to a lineage of samurai. But this is some of those games that I don't think ever came out that they were trying to make. But Port and Guillotine, yeah, we'll see how these are connected someday, I guess. You know, it's fairly easy to find number ones of Silverwolf, but like some of the other number twos, threes, and fours, I think had less print runs. They were harder to find, and I don't think most of these series even lasted anyway. Good luck finding Port number 2 out there. Nobody will ever know what's going on with the egg now, unfortunately, or with Guillotine, the bloodthirsty accountant. So fun little like power hour or half hour of some Silverwolf books. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for this fun little segment. And y'all out there, keep it safe, keep it psycho.